hello, Facebook world friends. So good to be back for another day of talking about gifts. For those of you who haven't seen my previous day's posts, we are in a series talking about gifts. Not because Christmas is coming up, not because it was my birthday a few days ago, but because we all have access to everyday gifts in our lives that can help us to thrive in life in any and all circumstances. Yes, I said any and all circumstances. So I'm so glad you guys are here and joining. Let me know in the comments if you are watching. Let me know whether you are watching here live right now or if you're watching the replay. Please comment along. I love the engagement, and so because that is this is why I'm doing this series. This is why I'm talking about this topic of thriving in life in all circumstances, is because we are all kind of feeling it right now in different ways, and we need to stick together. We need to come together and encourage one another. And yeah, so today's gift that I want to talk about, without further ado, is the gift of faith. Now, it is Sunday, so started my day off with some church. And if you're not a church person, please don't drop off. This content is really, really important. And I just want to have this dialogue with you. So stick around. You might be surprised by some of the things I have to say, because it's not necessarily it's not about church. I don't want to talk about church with you, even though I had a great morning at church. And from my living room, that's, you know, streaming on YouTube. Good stuff. Anyways, so Faith, leave a comment. I'd love for you to leave a comment and let me know, what is faith to you? Where do you have faith in life? Where do you need to have faith in life? What does that even mean? And I'd love to hear your thoughts. What comes to mind automatically for me is faith in God. That's generally what the first kind of thing people come up with or think of. But I also want to look at, I mean, faith is all around. Everybody has faith in something. Everybody has, yeah, there's faith all around us. Whether that is faith in a spiritual being, whether that is faith in humanity, whether that is faith in karma, whatever it is, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please put it in the comments. I will be going back and reading them for those of you who are watching the replay. And yeah, so I'd love to know if you have any faith, because again, I talked about this a couple days ago, that 2020 has been not the easiest for us. I'd love to know, as we enter the last week of the year, there's always this kind of excitement and this newness and about the coming year, and people have New Year's resolutions and all of that. I'd love to know, please put it in the comments, if you have faith that 2021 is going to be better for you personally than 2020 has been. Let me know. I'd love to see that. For me, I just want to talk about faith for a second. What is this word that I keep saying over and over that I think is a crucial gift that we have access to, that we need to be accessing, that we need to be living into in order to live a thriving life in all areas of our lives? So what is that? I mean, I don't know if you're in the church world, you've heard this. It's in the Bible. It's full assurance in the heart. It is it's an assurance of what we cannot see and a hope for what we do not have. But what does that actually mean? It's airy fairy a little bit and kind of vague. And what does that actually look like? And how do we apply that in everyday life? For me, that means that faith leads me to assurance, which leads me to confidence. Assurance of what? Assurance that the problem that I am having in the moment, whether it's a health issue, a relational issue, a work issue, whatever the issue is, because let's face it, we all deal with stuff day to day that comes in our way. And and so, but there's a confidence that this moment will not last. All moments end. And so it's kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel, you might say. Um, the rainbow at the end of the storm. There is this like gut knowledge, this heart, soul, gut, inner knowledge that as hard and grievous and painful as the situation you may be in any given moment is, faith is that assurance that this is not the end, that this is not all that there is, uh, and a confidence that it will be better, that this is not, you're not stuck in this. And so this for me has been, this caused me, like this held me together. For those of you who don't know my story, I lived in depression, in a state of depression and anxiety and panic attacks and suicidal ideations from the age of 16 to 26. And I would didn't want to wake up in the morning. And I would wake up and I would just wait for the night. I would just wait for bedtime, wait till I could go to sleep again because I didn't have hope. And my faith, yes, my faith is in God, the God of the Bible, but my faith, that thing that in those moments that were so hard, I knew, as hard as it was, and as depressed as I was, and as much as I wanted it to end, I knew that I had an assurance and a confidence that there was something better for me in my life, and there was something worth getting out of bed for and waking up for and living in all of the fullness of who I was created to be. And so it also, that was one thing that faith has done for me. And again, that is whether you place that faith in a God, in the people who you are surrounded with, that you have chosen to be your people, to be your family, to be your tribe, whatever that is, breathe into that. In the moments that hurt so bad, please breathe into that, live into that faith, tap into whatever place you've got to see that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that this moment is fleeting. It may last more than an actual second, and it often it does. I deal with health issues that last more than a second. They last more than a minute. But I also know they're not, that this pain, the physical pain that I feel, or the mental pain that I felt in those 10 years, I knew could not last forever. It would not last forever. And that was what propelled me forward. I want you to think about the world we live in. And it's been a crazy one this year, and we've heard news from all over the world and things that we, places we didn't know about or that weren't on the news are now on the news, and it just seems like the news is growing more globally. But I also look at the, when I watch the news, which I admit I don't do a lot of, but when I do, and I hear stories of other countries and places and people where they're living and how they're, whether they're surviving or they're thriving, I look at the poorest people in the poorest countries, in the third world countries, where sponsorship programs come in and there is relief workers that we kind of throw money at problems, and but I look at those people, and I have dear friends that have gone over to Uganda. I have a friend who lives in Uganda who's working to help these kids, and I hear stories, and these kids are so happy. They are living thriving lives despite hunger, despite illness, despite not having just clean drinking water. And I think, like, how it reminds me to be grateful for what it is I have and to tap into what is it? I see that there's a faith there, that they know that what they have is enough, that they will always have enough, that there is a provision there for them. And it causes them to have great joy. And so I want to just remind you of that as we are going into, as the new year's coming in. I would love to know, where are you going to increase your faith in this next week as we enter into 2021? How are you going to increase your faith so that you are able to live a thriving life in 2021? And that even if the circumstances in your life, the circumstances in our world don't change in 2021 on January 1st, because I don't know that they will on January 1st, even if those circumstances that don't change, that you will be changed, that you will start your year off thriving with a faith and a joy that supersedes whatever is going on in your life. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I'd love to hear your comments. If you're watching the replay, I will go back and read and comment on them. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic of faith and just where you are as we come into these last couple weeks of 2020. I'll talk to you guys soon. Goodbye for now from Coach Veronica. See you guys tomorrow.